I wanted to share with you one of the lessons from my book, A Wife's Recovery from an Affair. And this was from the beginning of my book. It's kind of a two-parter. And I had a t-shirt made about this lesson that I feel like God laid on my heart. So let me just give you some context. The first Sunday that I went to our church after my husband had confessed to an affair, no one knew except like our pastors. I had made a request for the women in the church on our Facebook page to please really pray hard for me to hear from God that Sunday, but I had given no details and nothing like that, so no one had any idea why I was asking to hear from God that day. We arrived late to the service, and as we were shuffling into the second row, one of the older women in the church turned around and saw me, and she pointed at me and she said, "There's the mountain mover." Well, I was kind of shocked by those words. And she again had no idea what I was going through. Well, later that week, I was so depressed that I crawled into bed and I pulled the sheet over my head and I pulled my Bible underneath the sheet, and I was just crying and pleading with God to speak to me through His Word. So I started reading and I found Isaiah 41:15-16, which says, "See, I will make you into a sharp threshing board, new with many teeth. You will thresh mountains and pulverize them and make hills into chaff. You will winnow them, and a wind will carry them away. A gale will scatter them. But you will rejoice in the Lord. You will boast in the Holy One of Israel." The hair on the back of my neck stood up. The script came right off the page, and the word mountain kept coming up. The mountains I was facing was the heartbreak and the healing that I needed to go through in my marriage. In the end, I cannot take credit for the strength and the courage that was given to me to forgive and to move forward. But as this verse says, all I can do is point to the one who I can rejoice in. And I will boast in God for the strength that He gave me during that time and for what He did. It is God who makes us mountain movers. He sees who we are and who He wants us to be. I didn't feel like a mountain mover that day when Linda pointed at me and said, "There's the mountain mover." Sometimes we don't see what God sees in us. But when we are surrendered into God's hands, He will make us into something beautiful. So my question to you is, what mountains does God want to help you overcome?